Hello everyone, my name is Christian, and today I'm going to be doing my first review of the Summer of Sci-Fi series that I'm doing. So I'm doing basically just sci-fi books for the month of June up until basically, I guess through August, I'm thinking. Originally, when I announced this, it was just going to be for until the summer school that I'm working at, but I have decided I'm just going to keep going because I am going to be reading fantasy books just to kind of cleanse my palate and go back to sci-fi. But the first novel that I read was The Dosadi Experiment by Frank Herbert. This is a really old novel by Frank Herbert, the author of the Dune series. He wrote this after the third book, Children of Dune, and this is a sequel. Book one is The Ripping Star, which I reviewed on this channel, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. Not my favorite of Frank Herbert's. I think that will go to The God Makers. I think that was my favorite one. But the Dosadi Experiment is a sequel that's about double the length of The Ripping Star and probably does half with its. Probably does half of the sort of stuff that it does. Like, what Ripping Star does in half of its page count does far more than what Dosadi Experiment does because it has a really great story. It's basically the main character from Ripping Star. He is like a celebrity, and he gets called down to figure out this weird planetary like experiment called the Dosadi Experiment, where basically these alien races have basically taken humans and melded them with alien bodies, and there's a frog person who I loved in this book. That was my absolute favorite character. He was absolutely the standout for this book and kept me interested because the entire book is basically the main character from the previous book basically just talking to people about this experiment, being like, why are you doing this? What does this serve? What's the function of this? And he is a representative, basically, of these forces that the Dosadis are actively enemies against. Because the Dosadis have been locked up on this planet, and these other aliens came in and were like, hey, like, let's take these prisoners and meld them with our own DNA and bodies and all this stuff. And once we figure out how to get past the God Wall, there's this thing called the God Wall in this planet that's basically a wall around the planet that they're unable to cross. And when you get down on the planet, like it's basically separating the planet in half. So you can cross it not just over the planet, like, you have the planet here and you have to get, past the atmosphere, but within the planet, there's also a barrier. So there's different sectors of like pro Dosadis and anti Dosadis, and it's really interesting. But he just does not do enough with this book, with these concepts, because it's basically just conversations the entire time, and none of it's interesting. The only interesting part is when we talk to the frog guy. There's a guy who basically is a walking frog. He's a walking bullfrog, and he's awesome. But there's nothing else in this book that I cared about. It was just really, really boring. And I was really disappointed by this, but I can gladly say that I'm done with this duology. It is a series. But I don't know. I think Frank Herbert had the idea first. I don't think he had at all the idea to connect this with the Ripping Star when he wrote this. I think he kind of brought in the Ripping Star stuff in after he wrote this because maybe these were like big books, not compared to Dune, of course, but maybe they sold a lot. I don't know. And then he was like, hey, like maybe if I make this a sequel, I'll sell even more. Because he was making enough money, but like he's exploring a lot of the same ideas he has been, and in all of his books, sort of the idea of culture being influenced by outside cultures, and sort of how war and sort of resources influences cultures and all that stuff. He's been doing that in every single book. I think he does it the best in Dune. With the spice and the Fremen and all that. I almost called him the Aiel, like from Wheel of Time. But yeah, this was not a fun book. I do not like the Dosadi experiment. I thought it had some really cool ideas, and then he did nothing with them. I was very disappointed. I'll give this book like a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4 out of 10 at most, but that should illustrate how little I like this book. It was not worth reading. I think Ripping Star is absolutely worth reading. It's like 100 pages, maybe. It's really short, fun, really cool ideas, but they deliver on the ideas, unlike the Dosadi experiment. So that was my first Summer of Sci-Fi read. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.